Welcome back. There are more than half a dozen candidates running for Milwaukee County Executive, all hoping to succeed County Executive Chris Abele, who chose not to seek another term. We've been talking to the candidates for the nonpartisan office, and today we're joined by Milwaukee County Board Chairman Theo Lipscomb. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here. I'm excited.
And so you know firsthand that there are some budget problems, a big budget gap, millions of dollars. Why is this something that you would want to take on and inherit?
Sure. So obviously I have probably the greatest understanding of county government of all the candidates. I've been doing this work for 12 years now on the board and 5 as the chairman. So I'm well equipped to take this on. I certainly understand the challenges, but I also see opportunities.
What would be some of your first priorities when it comes to the budget, you think?
Yeah, so I think what you've seen me work on in the past, which is making sure that we're adopting a balanced and responsible budget. We have limitations financially, and we have to make the best choices possible, and we've certainly done that in terms of when possible, making additional investments in transit and in our park system, but doing it within the constraints that we have. You know.
And I noticed on one of your websites that you said you really want to make sure that this is a nonpartisan office. How do you do that, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, so I think that the fact that I've always run as a nonpartisan candidate really does distinguish me from this field. You know, of those who have elected experience, they've all run as partisans in the past. I think, you know, if what you want is the sort of rancor that we have in Madison, if that's what you think would be good for Milwaukee, then perhaps you like a partisan candidate. But someone who can bring people together, I think that's what we need here. I've certainly done that, both in terms of our budget. You've seen in the last 2 years, you've seen us pass budget with near unanimity. That didn't used to happen. And in terms of my own election as chair, you've seen me, I've been elected in a couple cases unanimously. So I've been able to bring together what is not a homogeneous group. The county board represents many different political views. And
you've had a front row seat really to watching County Executive Chris Abele. I know you haven't always agreed in the past. Sure. What would you do different?
Yeah, so obviously we've had disagreements. I like to be clear with people that those were policy disagreements. Those were not personality disagreements. So we disagreed on the $60 wheel tax. Obviously voters also disagreed on the $60 wheel tax when we put that to referendum. So we twice cut that in half, and that was a source of conflict for us. The parking meters in the parks was a source of conflict, and we eliminated that proposal. But I think where you've seen us working well together in the last year and a half in particular is around the fair deal, which was a proposal that I brought to him suggesting that we would chair a task force that would look at the county's finances and come up with some solutions. We've worked well on that together.
And you support the county sales tax increase. Why?
So the proposal is to get the authority to ask voters. So we want the authority to put a referendum on the ballot and get voters the power to increase the sales tax, because we have financial constraints and we have needs to invest significantly in our park system. I think that's where most constituents see that our parks are not what they used to be, and they need significant investment, and there has to be some change in the relationship with the state. We cannot continue to be putting everything on the property tax. Property taxes are too high. So there needs to be a change in how we fund local government.
And as we've both heard, Republicans have said this is a non-starter. So what have you been hearing recently? How hopeful are you that they would let this come up for a vote?
Yeah, so I would hope that they would support local control and the idea that voters should have the authority to decide. Currently, voters can raise the property tax levy through referendum. Why should they not be able to weigh in on the use of sales tax? I think there's a narrow window to do this, but I think we need to make sure that we're building the case for that. Those who look at the county's finances recognize that there's a problem, that there's an unsustainable we're on an unsustainable course, and something has to give. Something needs to change.
And I'm giving all the candidates a chance to just kind of tell me about themselves. So for people who don't know you and aren't familiar with your work on the board, what would you say?
Sure. So I think not just my work on the board, but just my whole background. So architecture and urban planning background, worked in the private sector, worked in the nonprofit sector before coming to government about 12 years ago. I've served on every committee on the county board. I've been probably the most active author of budget amendments over the years. So you've seen me very active in terms of changing, making our mark on the budget. We do have the power of the purse as a legislative branch, but also my ability to work with people and bring people together. So,
Chairman Lipscomb, thank you.
thank you.
Next, why homeowners around the state are seeing higher property tax bills.